Good morning / afternoon / evening, everyone. Today I stand before you with a simple truth, one that can transform households, repair relationships, and raise a generation that doesn't just survive emotionally, but thrives in purpose. When your child is crying, don't just hug them. Listen to them, actively, intentionally, completely. You see, we have made a subtle mistake in the way we respond to pain in our children. We've been taught that hugging is enough, that affection can replace attention, that holding your child will somehow heal their heart. And while hugs are powerful, healing doesn't happen only through touch, it happens through understanding. Because a child in pain is not just looking for comfort, they're reaching for connection. Crying is not weakness. It is a language, a code, a message from the soul that something inside has been disturbed, and it demands not just a response, but recognition. When your child is crying and you say, "It's okay," before hearing what's wrong, you are not comforting them, you are unintentionally silencing them. We must remember, children are not just bodies with emotions, they are souls with voices. And in a world filled with noise, digital noise, emotional noise, and mental noise, one of the most revolutionary things a parent can do is listen. Not with solutions, not with speeches, not with distractions, but with sacred silence and full attention, because every time you lean in and say, "Tell me what's going on," you are doing more than parenting, you are pastoring the heart of a future adult. Let me tell you something that may challenge you. You don't raise children for comfort. You raise them for calling, and calling is not developed in silence. It is shaped in safe spaces where a child feels they are heard, valued, and understood. Active listening is not passive. It is purposeful. It says, "Your words matter. Your feelings matter. You matter." You see, hugging eases the pain of the moment, but listening builds emotional intelligence for a lifetime. When a child learns that their voice has value at home, they will not chase validation in the world. When a child knows that they are heard, they will grow into leaders who hear others. When a child is listened to in pain, they will not fear vulnerability in adulthood. But the opposite is also true. If we shut down their voice now, we damage their identity later. If we always hug without hearing, they will seek touch without trust. If we don't hear them in their small battles, they'll hide from us in their big ones. Parents, guardians, mentors, listen to me. The ears of a parent are the first therapists, the first pastors, the first protectors a child will ever meet. Listening is spiritual. It is more than the act of hearing words. It is the discipline of opening your heart to another person's truth. When you truly listen, you are not just engaging your ears, you are engaging your spirit. You are saying, "You matter, your experience is valid, your emotions are real." Listening is how love becomes tangible. It is how compassion takes form. In every relationship, but especially in parenting, listening reflects the heart of God. He does not rush our words, nor dismiss our pain. He listens, not because he needs the information, but because he values the connection. So when you listen to your child, you are not simply performing a task. You are participating in a sacred act. You are modeling divine attention. You are making space for their soul to breathe. Listening requires humility. It means laying aside your agenda, your assumptions, your need to be right, and entering their world without judgment. It is the choice to be present, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally. It takes strength to be quiet and fully tuned in. It takes maturity to say, "Let me hear you before I correct you." When a child speaks and is met with silence, distraction, or dismissal, they learn not to speak at all. But when they are heard, truly heard, they learn they are worthy. They learn that their voice carries weight, that their feelings are not foolish, and that their thoughts deserve space. Listening becomes the foundation of trust, the pathway to healing, and the birthplace of confidence. To listen is to love with intention. It is to lead without force, to connect without pressure, and to affirm without always having the answers. It is spiritual because it honors the invisible, what is happening in the heart, the mind, and the soul of another. Listening transforms moments into ministry. It is not passive, it is powerful, and when practiced with care, it becomes one of the most transformative tools of parenting and leadership. Hugging without hearing is incomplete. It offers comfort to the body but neglects the cry of the soul. A hug says, "You're not alone." But without listening, it doesn't answer the deeper question, "Do you understand me?" Physical affection can soothe for a moment, but emotional connection sustains healing over time. When a child is hurting, and all we offer is a quick embrace without inviting their voice, we may be easing our own discomfort more than addressing theirs. A hug can stop the tears, but only listening can reach the reason behind them. When we skip over their words and go straight to soothing, we may unintentionally teach them that their feelings are too big, too inconvenient, or not worth explaining. The child may begin to associate love with silence, believing that to be accepted, they must quiet their pain rather than express it. That is not healing. That is emotional suppression dressed in affection. Real connection happens when comfort and comprehension come together. When you pair a hug with genuine listening, you aren't just providing warmth, you're creating a safe space. You're saying, "Your emotions are not too much for me, and I want to know what's going on inside, not just fix what's happening outside." This combination gives your child the freedom to feel and the courage to speak. Sometimes we rush to hug because we're in a hurry to end the discomfort. But if we pause and ask what happened, or say, "I'm here, talk to me," we open the door to a much deeper bond. We teach them that love is not just something you feel, it's something you share, explore, and grow in together. The hug then becomes not just a reaction to their pain, but a response to their personhood, and that kind of connection leaves a lasting imprint. So don't stop hugging, but let the hug be the doorway, not the destination. Let it say, "I'm here," and follow it with, "Now tell me why." Because in the space where you hold them and hear them, that's where real healing begins. Crying is communication. It is not weakness, not manipulation, not a problem to be silenced. It is a language. It is how children speak when they don't yet have the words, when their emotions are too heavy for sentences, when their inner world overflows. Every tear has a message, every sob carries meaning, and behind every outburst is an unmet need, a fear, a hurt, or a plea for connection. To dismiss a child's crying is to hang up the phone while they are still speaking. Too often, we treat crying as something to stop rather than something to understand. We say, "Don't cry," or "You're fine," when in truth they are not fine, and they're crying to let us know. The cry is not the problem, it is the symptom, it is the signal. Just like a fire alarm is loud not because the sound is the issue, but because there's something happening that demands attention. A child's cry calls us to investigate, not to ignore. When we choose to see crying as communication, we begin to lean in rather than pull away. We ask questions, we slow down, we look beyond the behavior and into the heart, because behind the noise is a story, maybe one of confusion or rejection or fear or disappointment. Crying is not the breakdown of behavior, it is the breakthrough of honesty. It is vulnerability laid bare, and how we respond determines whether the child learns to express or to suppress. Listening to a cry doesn't always mean you'll fix the situation, but it does mean you'll understand the person. And that, more than anything, is what a crying child is asking for. Do you see me? Do you care? Am I safe to be real with you? If we can hear the cry beneath the cry, the message beyond the noise, we can respond with compassion instead of control, with presence instead of panic. Crying is communication, and when we treat it as such, we turn moments of emotional chaos into opportunities for deeper connection and trust. And if they cannot cry to you and be heard, they will cry elsewhere and be misunderstood. You are not just raising a child, you are forming a future. So next time your child is crying, don't rush to fix. Don't rush to hush. Don't rush to hug. Sit, be still, be present, ask, listen, reflect. Hold their heart before you hold their body, because the greatest gift you can give your child is not your arms, it's your ears. When a child is in crisis, when their emotions boil over, when their tears fall faster than their words, when they slam the door or bury their face in a pillow, our instinct is to comfort. To calm them, to stop the crying, we say things like it's okay, don't cry, come here, as we reach to hug them. And while that moment of embrace may ease the surface tension, what often goes unnoticed is the deeper message their pain is trying to send. You see, not all crying is about pain that needs to be pacified. Much of it is confusion looking for clarity. It's an inner storm trying to be understood. When a child is in crisis, their world has tilted. Something in their heart or mind feels unsafe, unknown, or unspoken. And what they are often asking for, whether they can articulate it or not, is understanding. They want to know, do you see me? Do you get what I'm going through? Does anyone understand how much this hurts and why it matters to me? In that moment, the greatest mistake we can make is to assume that affection can replace attention. Comfort, when given prematurely, becomes a form of dismissal. It says, I care that you're hurting, but I don't care enough to understand why. And that can leave a child more alone than they were before the hug. Comprehension, on the other hand, opens a door. It invites the child's experience into the light. It says, I'm not just here to stop your tears. I'm here to learn from them. Because every tear has a story. Every outburst has a backstory. Every meltdown is connected to something they may not yet know how to explain, but desperately want to. This is why listening matters more than soothing, because the need for comfort fades when someone finally feels understood. And it is in that understanding, when a child feels seen, heard, and validated, that real peace begins to settle in, not the peace of quiet, but the peace of being known, and that is far more powerful than a hug alone can ever offer. Parenting is leadership. It is not a role you fill. It is a position you hold. You are not raising a child to obey commands. You are raising a future adult to navigate life, purpose, identity, and relationships. Leadership means vision, guidance, correction, patience, and most of all, example. Children do not learn from instruction alone. They learn from demonstration. You lead not only with what you say, but more powerfully by how you live. Leadership in parenting is not about control, but about influence. It is not about producing compliance, but cultivating character. A good leader doesn't force followers. They inspire them. So it is with parenting. When you lead your child, you're not just directing their behavior. You are shaping how they see themselves, how they treat others, and how they understand love, respect, and authority. True leadership sees the unseen. It listens before it reacts. It anticipates needs and meets them with grace. A parent who leads well understands that discipline without relationship leads to rebellion. Leadership means you don't parent from your emotions. You parent from your principles. You don't react to their noise. You respond to their needs. Leadership also understands timing. There are moments to speak and moments to stay silent. There are moments to correct and moments to comfort. Leadership means knowing the difference. It is the balance of strength and tenderness, of firmness and compassion. Because the goal is not just to raise obedient children, but emotionally whole, mentally strong, purpose-driven people. Leadership is about legacy, and parenting at its core is one of the most sacred forms of leadership there is.